Good morning. This video is going to be about the failure mode or abuse of this Craftsman lawnmower with a Tecumseh TVS90 engine on it. It's going to be filmed in shaky cam. I've turned on image stabilization, but it may still wobble around. Deal with it. Also, it's very noisy. There's birds and airplanes flying around. Deal with it. First, we're going to start with the state in which I found this lawnmower. This was wired down. It was wired to the handle to keep it closed. The cable was destroyed. The woodpecker up in the tree should be shot. So this bar is chrome, but it was rusting, so I painted it black with anti-rust paint. It'll come off. The pull start cable was had been cut and tied in knots in multiple places. And let's see. This right here had been broken off of this, so the low-high didn't work. This lawnmower is from the late 80s, like 89 possibly. Stand by. As I was saying, oh, for God's sakes. As I was saying, so this was made probably 1989. This neighborhood is a pretty good neighborhood, but someone had thrown it out on the street. When I started working on it, because I've had one of these before, almost the exact same one. First thing I noticed was that these bolts were missing, and when I was taking it apart, I found that they weren't just missing, they were broken off in the head. And so I attempted to remove them, attempted to drill them out, but they seem to have been made out of depleted uranium, and I wasn't able to drill them to them with anything. Just broke drill bit after drill bit. So I had to get a new cylinder head. Let's see. There was major rusting underneath here. I had to rewind this, put a new string on it. I was able to use the same handle. This spring down here, the original one, this is a piece of it. The spring down here, I guess in an effort to lock the brake off and keep it running, because there's a switch in here that turns off the ignition, they cut this spring, and then when they wired that up, this held the brake off, or at least it tried to hold the brake off. I eventually had to replace the brake because it was lying loose in there, and it just literally wore down to nothing. And I had to get a new spring, and I'll put the spring that I replaced it with. Also, this cable is almost unobtainium, and I had to pay a ridiculous amount of money for it. It's like 25 bucks when most cables are 9 or 10. Let's see here. Oh, when I opened up the cylinder head, this is actually after I've done some cleaning on it. This thing had like a 1/16 of an inch or more of carbon buildup, both on the piston head. I lap the valves, and when I was getting it put back together, I found out that the spring in here, which is part of the governor which controls the speed of the lawnmower, was not the original spring, and was something that someone had made, and it was very weak. So I had to make a new spring, and I had to figure out how the thing went together. Then when I finally got everything back together and ran it, I found out this carburetor leaked. Oh, and the bulb on it was cracked, so I had to replace that. I ordered 5 bulbs for $9, and I received 50. And the seller doesn't want them back, so I don't know what I'm going to do with 50 carburetor primer bulbs. I had to make a new gasket for this because when I removed this to lap the valves, the gasket tore. This deflector here, as I had one of these lawnmowers before, and one of the things that was really annoying about it was that this deflects the gas right up into your face. I don't know who decided to make it that way, but they did. So I just put this piece of aluminum here, and it deflects the gas more outwards. On the back side of this carburetor is the inlet, and it had cracked from age, so I had to fix that with JB weld. So far it seems to be holding. I had purchased another carburetor because that one was leaking and I didn't want to mess with it, so I got this one off of Amazon, and it works. But the problem is that this jet that goes underneath it on the bottom here, when I would adjust it so the engine would run, this would leak. And it would leak from around the silver part. Now, I tried replacing the spring with a stronger one. I tried using a tighter O-ring, and it still would barely leak. I think I can maybe fix it. But I don't really want to mess with it right now, and so like I said, I fixed I JB welded the fitting and put the old carburetor back on, and it started right up. Well, after I primed it and gave it a shot of starting fluid, because these Tecumsehs are kind of cold-blooded. They don't like they don't start well when it's cold. Let me see. Oh, and all the wheels are the same except this one, which is about a 1/2 inch, 1/4 inch, whatever, larger than the other ones. So we got that going for us, which is nice. It's missing one of the wing nuts for folding it. Not my problem. And when I put the blade on, I didn't realize it was keyed, and I had to I couldn't figure out why I couldn't get it to start, and it was so easy to turn over. Well, it's because the blade was moving freely. So I had to fix that, put it in properly. But yeah, once I got all of that stuff taken care of for the tune of whatever price I put on the screen, it works fine. Works perfectly now. Anyways, that's it. Thanks for watching.